Hey everyone, Coops here from the whole Box and Dice Magic the Gathering pre-release weekend for Dominaria. I think this set is going to be absolutely amazing to draft for limited. I think it's going to have a pretty impactful and pretty big relevance to Constructed as well, especially because we're going to be losing 2 blocks at the end of this year. So you'll get this for 6 months. It's just the one, what do you call it, a one block set, one block set, because we just go into core 19 at the end of 2018, and then we get whatever comes after Dominaria and core. So that means you have a lot of historic, a lot of merfolk, a lot of dinosaurs, plus whatever the core set brings. And I think Dominaria has some really interesting standalone potential. I saw a Sultai historic list. One of my mates showed me that looks really awesome. I love the idea of blue-red wizards being a thing. If there's a goblin deck out there, I think that'll get a lot of nostalgia, and there'll be a lot of people being interested in seeing what mono red goblins looks like in standard. But let's see how this first pack is going for us. Whoop, we'll just hit the camera there on our first pack. A little too excited because it's going to get the blade, and like perfect example, right? When we look at the new legend card frame as well, you've got a blade there that has a reduced cost if you're equipping it to a legendary creature, which I think is very cool. So as far as I can tell, if you don't get a rare or better legend, so if you don't get a rare or mythic legend, you get a legend at the back, but then that can also be a rare or a mythic. We'll test this out as we open a couple of packs. Just saw a Sarah Angel there, and that's one of the new sagas. Love the frame on that. And a foil land, so good stuff here early in the box. Hopefully get a couple of mythics. Obviously Khan, everyone is pretty divided on Khan. Would love to let you know. Hit me up in the comments. Were you excited to open a Khan? Do you think the $40 that they're asking at the moment is crazy? They're like $100 SCG US at the moment. So some very interesting price points. There's an isolated chapel and there we go, another legend creature behind that. You've got Mox, which I think is about 40 at the moment as well. There are some very, very interesting prices. The mythics look pretty solid overall. There's a couple of like cheap dragons. There's the 4-cost 5/5 or 4-cost 4/4 that has the kicker. I think that's pretty relevant. Here we go, the territorial Allosaurus. I think this is a very interesting one for post-rotation. I get asked a lot, what do you think is going to be good in terms of like, finance or like post-rotation. I think Ripjaw Raptor, I think that's a very good card. I did see today Cast Down, the 2-mana black that destroys non-legendary creature. That's something, as we see an avatar there. That's probably some consideration as well. Black certainly has a nice curve to it in terms of like unconditional removal up the curve. Or I guess early conditional removal into unconditional removal. But I do like the territorial Allosaurus. I think that could be definitely an interesting one there. We've got the Evra there, the 4/4 Angel that you can swap your life with its power. That's a very interesting card. Obviously, like limited. I'm not sure how much constructed playable, I guess that you're going to see. I think the Mox Amber is a very hotly discussed mythic. We Gilded Lotus there, and then Grun, the big ape king. Mox is a very interesting one at the moment. I saw, like I mentioned earlier, I think it was Sultai, historic deck at Star City Games is currently showcasing that. But I also really like the idea of blue-red wizards. Obviously, Baral, Chief of Compliance, as we see the 4-cost 7/7. Baral, Chief of Compliance, is a legendary creature which activates the Mox. You can then play that potentially on turn 3 for nothing, but you can play it on turn 2 and tap it for a blue, and that actually brings negate mana online on turn 2 as well as the 1/3 body that has that ongoing cost reduction. Oh, nice foil Weatherlight. That's a foil mythic, not too shabby at all. Weatherlight's a really interesting one. Does a lot of stuff. I like that. It's very expensive. Both, like, I think it's crew 3. So Weatherlight is an interesting one, but we've seen vehicles do a bit of work in the past. Obviously, I think on the back of Smuggler's Copter, on the back of the Looter Scooter, there definitely is some reserve in terms of not wanting to print 2 busted vehicles. Nice, we get a nice foil saga. Just love the art on the sagas. I think the foils will look pretty neat, and I'm definitely a huge fan of the historic, of the legend art frame. I think that'll make Brawl a bit unique as well. You know, you've already got the 60 card deck, standard rotation list to it. One thing I don't understand though in Brawl is why the standard ban list is the same. Oh, nice, Benalia. This card I really like, although I just don't think the format is conducive to it. You know, it makes a couple of 2/1 knights, which I like. Then there's a buff for it. But I just think that mono white, or even if it's the white black knight deck, we spoke about this a lot today during the pre-release. Is there enough? Like, you know, you look at like what mono green wants to do in terms of like, you know, potentially Llanowar elves into the Steel Leaf champion, Ronus, Golter, you know, some crazy line like that. There's lots of decks that have, I guess, ways to answer that. What does mono white do? Plays like Legion's Landing into, I don't know, maybe Servo Exhibition, swing on turn 3. Then it can play like SRAM, I guess, into a Saga, or into maybe the 3-drop that +1/+1s everything. Like, there just doesn't seem enough for mono white. But I don't know, we might be missing something. But it's a shame, because like I do really like the White Weenies deck, and obviously there are some players out there like it's a loved, you know, deck archetype. And Westvale Abbey was such an awesome payoff for a token strategy, and you do have things like Anointed Procession, but a lot. Oh, nice, Khan. Just to interrupt our ramblings there of mono white tokens and weenies decks, as we crack open a Khan. Khan is a very interesting topic. You've got the people that swear by it, the utility. You know, it's the walking ballista planeswalker kind of thing, can go in anything. But then it's like, it's card draw, and there's no ultimate. You know, I was going to say the ultimate isn't great, but the ultimate payoff, I guess, for the card isn't great. There's, you know, card draw is always good. I'm not sure about Khan. I think there's going to be a lot of decks that want to play around with it. Maybe decks that don't have a good planeswalker in their colors are interested in Khan, but I don't think, like, Khan's like $100 foil at the moment. It's like $40 SCG 1/1. That seems very expensive. It just seems very expensive for a card that just doesn't leap off the page at me. You know, I know people didn't think Chandra was amazing, and there's plenty of times they get it wrong. Torrential Gearhogs were under $10 when the set first came out. So look, there's plenty of misses in MTG Finance. But, oh, nice. Joyra, the Weatherlight Captain. But, you know, like, you look at a card like Joyra, you know, market's pretty much decided on the value there. But Khan is just all over the shop. Same with Mox. You know, Khan and Mox are the two big question marks of the set. But I think it's called like Verix or Berix, the Red Dragon. I think it's the 4-cost. I really like that. I think there are some sleeper mythics in this set. You know, Benalia and stuff, interesting card. I just don't know how I feel about, you know, some of the lines that you need to kind of pull off to be competitive. I'm super excited to see what this mono green deck looks like. I think Steel Leaf is a very interesting card, especially with things like Golter. Like, that's interesting, and especially because Cast Down is something that I think decks will have to give some consideration for, because having, you know, that legendary, or not being able to hit, or being able to hit a legendary, and then I guess inverse of that is being able to play legendaries, because you know your opponent has to wait for something like a Cast Out or a Vraska's Contempt. You know, where does that kind of take the decks? How much does that hurt Cast Down? You know, how many Cast Downs can you run in a deck on the back of that? So that, I think, will be interesting. You know, like, if that deck plays, you know, does play Llanowar into Steel Leaf, into Ronus, into Golter, you've got two targets that they can't hit. Obviously, Golter is enough to turn on Ronus. It's pretty big beat sticks coming at you, you know, turn 5. If you've got an Attune or something in there, can you do something crazy like with Fling? Like, I'll definitely try something like that. But Verdant Force, even cards like that, the big Elemental, you know, the big 7/7. There's a lot going on with Dominaria, and that's what I really like about the set. I think it's going to have a positive shake-up to where things are going. Like that there's the Opt reprint. I love the F&M art for the Opt, by the way. I think that's amazing. I'm so glad they're bringing back the F&M promos. I think that's the 100% right decision. Tokens were interesting for a period of time, but I think players want something as a better tangible reward, and I think the alternate arts is the way to go. And even just things like the Llanowar Elves for the open house, and then we saw the Steel Leaf for the games day. They're the cards that I think Wizards should be pushing and promoting, because there are really cool ways to say, yeah, I was involved in. Oh, nice, Jaya or Jaya, depending on how you pronounce it. 5. Oh, and a foil rare saga. Jaya is an interesting one, right? So it costs 5, and I don't know about the cost of 5, to be honest. It adds the 3 mana, which I like, but you can only use it to cast instant and sorceries. You're definitely very heavy into red. Is there ever a time where you want Jaya over just Chandra from Kaladesh? Obviously, you're not going to have Chandra. Oh, nice, the frog. You're not always going to have Chandra from Kaladesh. Maybe they were worried that Chandra is a little bit too strong, with ramp, especially with Llanowar Elves. Does having access to a Chandra in a red-green deck on turn 3, is that too strong? But you already kind of had access to Chandra on turn 3 with, servants. Oh, just mythics everywhere. As we ripped the Jund dragon there. These are other cards. Like, there's a lot of mythics that are more than one color in this set. You've got the Jund dragon. You've got that Sultai, whatever it is, like that. No, the avatar's the black thing. You've got the Sultai mythic in there. There's just lots of interesting, I guess, color comboed, pieces. You've got Joyra, she's the red-blue, so, I guess it's nice to offset Khan as well as the Weatherlight and Mox being just colorless, and then having such heavy kind of color requirements. Like, you've got Teferi in there as well, being, blue-white. Last time we saw a blue-white Planeswalker, that was Dovin. Dovin really didn't, I guess, hit the spot, and Teferi, I'm not convinced either. I get it. I understand that, Wizards try and make the Planeswalkers interesting and different because they are the quote-unquote hero cards of the set. Let's get another frog. But it's also, I also understand that, I guess, balancing them is very important as well. They don't want just Super Friends to be an unstoppable deck. I definitely get that. But sometimes I feel like, you want to feel really good about opening and playing a Planeswalker. 2-headed Giant, it's a cute card. I think they should be maybe a little bit more powerful sometimes. Whoop, sorry. So I'll just fix that camera there. I think sometimes you want to feel like they're a little bit more impactful when you play a Walker, just because, they are supposed to be like the mini heroes of your deck. So I get what they've tried to do with Jaya, and Teferi to a lesser extent, and I'm just not sure how exactly they fit in there. But obviously the historic rule, both of them being applicable for the historic benefit, that may play into it, obviously somewhat. So we'll have to see. But this box has been, not too bad, pretty solid. We've got the Voice of Plenty, another angel, plenty of angels and knights in this set. So we've got foil Weatherlight, that was pretty awesome. We've got the Jund Dragon, we've got Jaya, we've got the captain of the Weatherlight as well. That's it's not too bad. Obviously, and Khan, so that's like super solid. So we hit a Mox as we go to a Cabal Stronghold, and a Befuddle in foil. If we hit a Mox in this box is pretty solid, pretty impressive box. But I probably should have organised these cards on the bottom. But hopefully you've all had a chance to jump down to a pre-release this weekend, or you've had a go on MTGO, and I'd love to hear about what you're pulling. Was there an archetype that you enjoyed? I really like Ariel there, just the black-white knight. Especially like that they have 4 toughness on the card, so it's a little bit more removal resistant as well, which I think is solid. I was very surprised actually how that it is a bit slower, and it's a bit more of a grindy set, this one. And not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but recently we've had a pretty strong and dominated, I think, 1, 2, and 3 drops, and there definitely are faster decks. There's a black-white deck that wants to go pretty damn quick, that causes a lot of issues for your opponent, but it is nice having something a little bit slower as well, I think. Just buys you a little bit more time, allows you to play some, deeper lines and some more complex setup as we get a Woodland Cemetery there. And I think that's going to be, that's nice. It's nice for the game and nice for the constructed environment as well. But also for all the limited players as we crack open our last booster here. And pretty happy with this box. Obviously amazing if we hit a Mox in this last pack. But we got Khan, we got a foil mythic. Rares were pretty solid as well, which I think is relevant. Obviously, and there's a Saga to finish us off. Don't think we had that one, so I think we did pretty well. Didn't get too many. Got a couple of the lands, which is always nice. And this is the first reprinting of these, so it's very cool to get the reprint as well. And and even just the foil basics. I just saw that foil basic forest there again. I think the basics look good, and I guess that's that's all you want. We've got this set for 6 months before Core 19 comes out. No one really knows exactly what's going to be in Core. How are Wizards of the Coast going to actually attack that in the terms of adding utility? Because this is a very weird, almost like Dominaria core set in the sense that it's just one booster box. There's no follow up to this set. We're not seeing these cards again. So that'll be interesting. And we'll have a look at the legend card frame, I think, because I think it's so cool. I'm such a huge fan when Wizards is prepared to take a risk like this, and things like obviously the invocations in Amonkhet didn't really work out. I thought the concept was really cool in terms of bringing that Egyptian flavor, but there's not a lot to this. The card frame is pretty simple, but it makes for a really nice, I guess, just difference, just flavor, just uniqueness to this, and obviously it'll make Brawl pretty cool as well, and probably helps with the foils as well in terms of the resale. And like I said, it's pretty good stuff in this box. A couple of sagas, a couple of legendary creatures, which is mastery, bit of lull in there too. So we kind of got it all in this box. The saga art is so good. I saw a cryptic command, like the proxy guy on Twitter do a cryptic command in the style, and that was very cool. But our mythics are really solid, especially where we've got the foil Weatherlight in there as well. So a good number of mythics plus a foil one. The rest of the foils don't really matter, but we've got a foil mythic and a foil rare, so pretty darn happy with this box, I reckon. So we're going to get cracking on the rest of them, then we're going to jump straight back into another flight. We're having an absolute blast with Dominaria, so if you want to see more unboxing, stick close to the channel. We've got a couple of awesome MTG giveaways coming up shortly, so plenty of good stuff. Thank you so much for watching this one. Check us out on all the socials if you want to stay close to the channel. Support us on Patreon. If you'd like to throw a couple of bucks our way, that would be greatly appreciated. But most importantly, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Coops. This is the Whole Box and Dice. Peace.